What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Morten Harket, and we're back to begin a new album. And indeed, when I finished Out of My Hands, shout out to Shell who sent this to me, as well as to Sophia, who was very amused by the idea of me putting this cover like I do for all my albums up on the wall, because she mentioned that Morten was shirtless on the cover, so yes, I think we were both amused by that conversation. Nevertheless, I feel safe and confident in doing so. Regardless, we are going to begin going through Brother, because when I finished reacting to Out of My Hands, I was like, well, I guess that's all the Morten stuff. Well, let's move on now. And I could feel within an hour or so of posting the video, the collective shout from the Aha people and the Morten fans that, Brother! I'm sure you all did it with a raised fist, so I apologize for momentarily forgetting, and as many of you will know, indeed as the Aha family perhaps known, Betty? I don't know who Betty is, but better than anyone, my short-term memory can be dodgy. But yeah, I will also try to do a Savoy reaction in this batch, because I keep going back to the comment that Graham wrote when I didn't get to a Savoy reaction for one of the only times on a Wednesday, and he mentioned that he was on the ocean floor just waiting and nothing was happening. So now every time it comes up to Tuesday night, I feel like, oh man, like we have to avoid Graham drowning. So in any case, I will do this and Savoy. But yeah, once again, shout out to Shell, you are vastly appreciated. And indeed, you know, I realize this album isn't everyone's cup of tea, Out of My Hands, but I, you know, as someone who likes electronic sound, someone who likes a bit of glitzy, you know, synth pop, and something that, you know, sonically isn't necessarily folksy or, you know, nuanced and progressive, but sometimes just, you know, a bit of a cool electronic sound, you know, that is in some ways my world. So I was a big fan, so I'm happy to have a copy. Nevertheless, the first tune on Brother is Brother, so we begin with the title track. Always a logical decision by my mind, again, whether it's because the tune is particularly emblematic of the themes on the album, or whether it's just the best track on the album and therefore it is the title of the album. You know, the album is given the title of the best tune. Either way, it just feels like, oh, it makes sense that if you have a title track, it might be first. Again, it might make sense at the end. It might make sense in the middle of the album, though that always, you know, is instantly a bit perplexing to me. But yeah, Brother, you know, obviously it could be familial, it could be fraternal, it could be platonic, it could just be colloquial, but, you know, the idea of brotherly bonds, I think, is something that across human cultures and the millennia is well established in human culture overall. So I wonder in what concept of, or in what type of brother we'll be dealing with here, or perhaps, you know, it might work on multiple levels. It's a single word title. Those do tend to be tough to get a read on, even when the word itself means a lot. So let's listen. This is Morten Harket. The tune is Brother, and it's from the album of the same name, 2014.
You are still my brother till the end of time. You and we lost our way, differences of mind till the end of time. Listen to me, brother, I can't take your place.
It's like the Morten of the past is emerging from
No one else
2010 14 ones.
That's the work of grace to the end of time. My problem. Hey, I think you got me
feels back more into what, all of the things being equal, if you said, oh, I have a new solo tune by Morten, it's more in the sonic range than I might expect compared to Out of My Hands. Nevertheless, I'm intrigued because it was like, for much of the song, and maybe the line came earlier than I thought, but for much of the song I thought if there was a transgression that precipitated the split, it was maybe the other person, walking out of the town or off the reservation. And I did hear the line about like, oh, you're welcome, but like if you come back, what is it like? Don't turn away my converts or something. So it felt like I didn't mention in advance that brother can have very religious connotations, certainly. And it felt like, okay, so maybe that's where this is. And then like suddenly it's like, I know I crossed a line. So it's like, oh wait, so he maybe is the one that drove someone away, but he's still saying you'll always be my brother, and if you want to come back, you're welcome. Unless, like whatever led them to have the disagreement, whatever led the narrator to cross a line, unless the other person is still doing that or still trying to turn people away from him or something. It feels like there's a very implied backstory, which from the very beginning it was clear that like this is not the first chapter in a story. This is something that has been unfolding or has earlier installments. But yeah, again, look forward to the comments. Ultimately, sonically, very sweet, and I like, again, the dual layered Morten vocals is what I assume that was, with the higher one sounding like, more of the soaring, like aha Morten, and the lead one sounding, I don't know, a bit Johnny Cash-like. It was a bit, sort of deep voiced, and the weight of the world on it and the experience, which, I don't know, it feels like maybe it fits with the lyrics, at least, the bits that I caught. So seemingly a very appropriate vocal delivery for the lower part as well. So, and again, maybe the higher voices, the history when things were sweeter or more connected, or just a sort of frame of reference to like he's thinking about the past as he's living in the present. I feel like there's a lot maybe at work here. But either way, a cool opener. Once again, shout out to all the people following the Morten journey. Shout out to Shell, you are very much appreciated. Shout out to Sophia, always helping me with the deep dive. Shout out to Margie and Dawn and a million other people that I know on the deep dive I've been mentioning a lot of the same people because they really do help me on a day-to-day basis, asking questions. Again, Graham is a great example. But ultimately, all the people here, again, Sylvie and all the people who've been, running the show in the comments for the AHA deep dive for many, many months now, you are greatly appreciated, even if I don't mention you by name each deep dive. So, or each deep dive. Once a deep dive, that's it. But each reaction. In any case, let me see what the next tune is in the moment. I do have the folder out, so Safe With Me. So, okay, yeah. Curious to hear why that may be, what they're safe from, and whether that's a new or static condition. In any case, we'll figure out all these things and more, and we will continue to rescue Graham from the ocean floor, and I will see you next time. Peace.